Welcome back to another episode of Scryer's Room. We are joined this week again with Old Man Will.
Yo.
And I'd like to start off with, we're going to talk about how dumb the robots are. So I know AI is really scary, and it definitely needs to be taken seriously, but I'll only be afraid of it when they can defeat CAPTCHA, which is a very long ways away, I feel like. And on that note, Old Man, let's hear it.
Well, first off, before we get into my dumb thing with AI, I was having this conversation with Alex today, actually, talking about Twitter and bots and shit, and how after Elon took it over, there's too many bots. I see way more bots on Twitter now
than
I ever
more bots
have
on Twitter.
Elon is a stupid stooge, man. Everything he touched, whatever. Man.
Yeah. I don't think we're not talking about Elon Musk right now.
I'm not going to grace him with my voice.
We're going to talk about the robots.
But, so, not too long ago, I was I was in bed on TikTok at 3 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't sleep at night. Some dumb thing I like to do when I can't sleep is I'll get on lives and when people are trying to sell shit, I'll just, kind of humor them as if I'm interested, which I'm not, just to hear them try and sell me fucking crystals or whatever, because I find it humorous.
I mean, I'm sure they're also thankful to be able to go back into pitch rather than having to patter through their way.
Just talking to absolutely nobody.
Yeah, talking to an empty room.
But then they get me coming in.
Yeah.
And I'm just I'm listening to this guy trying to sell vitamin D3. And so I'm watching it and I'm just will it help me edge? Will it? And I'm getting no response. Oh yeah, Mario hasn't heard this. So I'm a grown man, by the way. I'm will it help me edge? Will it? And then all of a sudden somebody replies, "Yes, it will!" Exclamation point. So I'm what the fuck? Okay. So I reply, I'm awesome. If it helps me edge, I'll buy it. I love to edge. To which it replies to me, "Thank you for your enthusiasm. If it helps you with edging, it's definitely worth considering. Feel free to ask any questions you may have." So I'm alright, this is obviously a bot. It's just taking some things that I'm saying and regurgitating it to me. But I want to see if it will keep going with it. So I go, oh fuck, this is so bad.
Keep going.
I go, will it help my edge become a goon, or does another product do that? To which it replies, yes. Yes. This product can definitely help you improve your edge and make you a goon.
God.
It's highly recommended. So I'm it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm fucking on my bed on TikTok, just laughing to myself in my covers. What the hell? So I'm just I want to kind of try to see if it'll keep going with it. I go, that's seriously impressive. There's no way it could make my goon become a joke max though. Question mark?
God.
Or could it? Which replies,
you're teeing up the robot so hard.
The best part is when I asked or could it, it's 2 separate messages.
Right.
So I'm just making myself laugh. And it goes, yes, it could. So I'm wait. It can help my edge become a gooning Jelk Max? Yes, it can enhance your edge and improve your Jelk Max. So I'm just rolling around laughing, I go, alright. Okay, then I'll buy this right now if it can make my edge becoming a gooning Jelk Max. Oh my god. He goes, yes it can. And then after that it's just not replying anymore and I'm just being stupid and I ask, do it short. Because, I'm just fucking, I don't know what I'm doing at this point. And
let's freestyle. Let's see how good the robot is in street ball.
Yeah. And it doesn't reply. I say, do it. And it goes, yes, you can do it. And then by that time, the actual real person
had noticed
that I'm just trolling its shitty AI. And then it bans me after that. But
leave my robot alone.
Yeah. So that's what happened. That's what I do.
I look forward to being trolled in Twitch chat, man. That's good.
That's so good.
Yeah. I know you guys are going to get me bad.
I love that you instinctually, there's no high-handed manipulation here. The most over the middle of the plate tee-ups that you could, because this dumb motherfucker's gonna swing.
Yeah. I really I was laughing so hard to myself, there's no way it could do it. Or could it? Yes, it could.
You'd be surprised, dear viewer.
Yes,
the
you
yes
can.
Man robot, the yes man robot.
Yeah.
Alright, so hold up. We're gonna take a moment. I'm going to go on a a deep-seated rant.
Oh, okay.
All
Here we
right, Goon.
Oh!
You stupid Zoomer sons of bitches.
Don't
How?
be mean to the children.
I think the Zoomers are a better generation than us, and I think they're going to be, if we're going to be in a golden age, it's going to be on their backs.
They're pretty good.
They're not going to usher it, but it's going to be, by the time they're the baby boomers, I think things are going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Based on how the trends are. But
in terms of Goon?
That being said, as a millennial, as an elder millennial, I'm going to be the crotchety old man that will shoot your motherfucking ass because you don't know what Goon means.
Oh,
Goon is a synonym for a mook, a stooge, or a bimbo. Like, that is what it means. It is a
or even a henchman.
A henchman. Excellent synonym. A goon is a degenerate motherfucker who does things in the shadows because he can't do anything else.
That is.
He's locked in. He's locked in that lifestyle. You call them fuckboys these days. Well, guess what? Fuckboy is like the Digivolve version of what a goon was.
Back in the day, a fuckboy would be like, "Yeah, I got my eyes open for the bats, boss."
Yeah, dude. Okay, so our friend group, in fact, is known as the LTP Goons.
Yeah.
LTP Goons, stemming from the movie The Goonies, which means if you think goon should mean whatever the fuck you think it means right now, it means you didn't watch The Goonies, or at very least don't put respect on it, and you don't know the classics, you don't respect the classics, your entire generation are Philistines!
Our group being the LTP Goons is also, this is very much a situation that guy who got the tattoo of the metal band ISIS went through. Where ISIS was a pretty good metal band in like the 80s.
Oh man!
And then these fellas over in the land before
the Holy Lands.
Over there they have thousands of years of history that leads to a separate group of fellas who just have some ideas.
They're
some
going
interesting ideas, and they may be a little buck wild about it, and they also are called ISIS, and we're not fans of that.
No.
But to go back on your point of a goon being someone who does shady things in the dark, that could also be applied to the... that could also be applied to that, you know.
Ow!
You know, you got a 10-minute break from working for Killer Croc. You gotta...
Yeah. No, but 10 minutes is not enough. That's enough for a light edge.
Yeah.
But there's no way you're getting into gooner territory with that one.
Oh, what the fuck are you talking about?
We're talking about hours here.
He's not taking his vitamin D3.
He's not exactly. You know, if you took your vitamin D3 like the Chinese bot told me to do,
you can turn that
I could
10-minute ad.
Yeah, that 10 minutes that I got as a henchman in my downtime, I could make that 10 minutes into a gooning joke match. Over time. But I'm gonna need at least like another hour or two. And then I'm hitting that sweet spot.
Oh,
yeah.
You know? Man.
Also, independently, I was not part of the
LTV Goons.
Yeah, these goons, but independently of that, like, my trio of friends in high school, we referred to ourselves as the Goon Squad.
Yeah.
Which has an entirely different context nowadays.
Yeah.
If we were the Goon Squad of 3 men...
That's an insult now!
Then, that would be...
People calling you the Goon
thing.
Squad would very much be like... That's almost like... The cops would be like, yeah, of course they fought to the death about it.
But I do think there's still probably like a difference between like calling somebody a goon and calling somebody a gooner.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, gooner,
that's the real
that's
distinction
fair.
right there.
Yeah, because I would not acknowledge gooner as something to be, as like a goon. Like, I would know it's a separate thing, it's a separate slang.
That guy's a goon. It's like, oh, I don't trust that guy. But that guy's a gooner. It's like, I'm not shaking that guy's hand.
Yeah, never again. Never again. Yeah. So as far as the LTP goons went, Kevin gets exploded.
I have a joke that I can't say out loud.
Oh man.
No.
All right. Well, hold
So
on.
you guys keep talking. You guys keep going.
Hold up. There we go. All right. I think we're good. Yeah, we're back.
All right, so gooning. I'm not. No.
Yeah, we're done with that.
Yeah. So there were the LTP Goons originally stemmed from 7 lads. That was myself, my brother, Ricky, Alex, Sharif. Oh my God! Why am I missing one? Sean? Did I say Sean already?
Did he?
I don't think so.
Sean.
No.
Yeah. So clearly, I thought I said him third. Sorry, Sean. And then oddly enough, Jean-Luc. Those are the original 7 LTP goons.
Yeah.
John Luke is our Green Ranger. Like,
He came in.
he came in and then shit got weird. I mean, he's back though. He's back in the air. He's doing good.
Like every 6th Ranger that joins, he shakes up the lineup.
It causes some character arcs, like for better and for worse, and builds character.
Yep.
Definitely some interesting stories there. He's a good lad, good man. I love you, baby. But yeah. So those are the 7 original LTB goons, and like as my schoolyard chums, I put some respect on that name. So to have the word goon be so corrupted by just the annals of time, it's like
To be sullied and, desecrated.
yeah.
For hours, but not right away. Always, you put it off a little bit longer and longer, saying, no, it's not going to be so desecrated, and then it's suddenly very desecrated.
And then the term goon is just completely busted.
Exactly.
I hate all of you so fucking much. I hate you fucking people. They're fist bumping to my ire. Of course they are.
That's what I said, bust.
I'm a passionate man. This is one of my passions.
Oh, man.
Fucking Christ. Alright, yeah, so From Software is a pretty cool game company.
That's pretty cool.
They make some interesting games. So my experience with From Software is Armored Core. I wasn't a Souls person. Like, game is too hard, man. I like to enjoy my time. So
So he chose Armored Core.
yeah, right. Well, heavy object. But From Software has a very beautiful approach to storytelling. We're not going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about the stories. All right. So put some respect on it, viewers, listeners. And that can be epitomized in their first game, Armored Core, because in Armored Core, basically it's about how capitalism is hell, and the future when everything is commodified, that your life is going to suck and you're going to be dehumanized to being a barcode. But they don't tell you any of that. There's no direct story. You have to pick all this up just to the context. So, for example, Armored Core starts, Mechs Online, you're in the middle of a battle already. You've just been dropped. You literally went online as your company's under assault. So
That's crazy.
You're fighting, and they don't give you any tutorial. They don't give you any instructions. It's you're being shot. Obviously, shoot those guys. What are you, stupid?
From Software kept this in some of their future titles.
Yeah. So you are just in
No
mech
tutorials.
suit. In mech suit, go. You're fighting shittier mech suits, right? And you're like, all right, yeah. All right, you're trying to figure out the controls. And you're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to beat these guys. They're really weak, actually. Haha. And you win the match, and then you have to pay for all your bullets. You have to pay for all your repairs. And you don't get enough money to do for any of those. So you go into the... If you are not already knowing how to play the game, you are going to take enough damage and use enough ammo to go into negative. And you can go as deep into negative as you want to, baby. Which means you will keep playing the game and not get any money. And not get any upgrades. And as you complete levels that you can't go back to, now you can't beat the game anymore. Ooh. Can you? You stupid idiot. Maybe you should have played better.
Because not everyone gets to win when it's capitalism.
Yeah, maybe you should have known what you were doing off square one, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, you had to learn what you're doing? No one taught you? Then of course you failed, idiot. That's capitalism. And From Software nailed that shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, fucking crazy, right?
I didn't even know that if you failed a mission, you couldn't go back and play. That's crazy.
Maybe you can. I think that it was introduced in Armored Core 2. I think it was introduced in Armored Core 2.
I've never played...
In the original...
I played Armored Core once, and it was with you, but we were playing split screen, I think.
Do you know what generation of consoles?
I have no idea.
PS3,
This was years ago.
PS2?
Probably, or 3.
It was probably Armored Core 3. That was the one I'm the most intimate with.
Yeah.
I will tell you that Armored Core 2, oh my god, why can I not remember the fucking second one? They always do pairs. Oh. They always do pairs. They make game, and then they make, like, sequel game that has all the other shit plus some new stuff, but it's an entirely different story.
Yeah.
Usually based off of the previous game, though.
Right.
Like, one of my favorite ones is Armored Core 4. Is they went crazy with that, with mech customization, so much that that's why it failed. It was just too much. You had to, like, put stabilizers on your mech and shit to, like, balance it out, and if you weren't doing, like, calculus, you couldn't play the game.
Damn.
So...
You need to run spreadsheets.
Yeah, you gotta run spreadsheets. Programming Waifu Bot in Armored Core 5 was, like, taking a lot of time.
Programming Waifu Bot literally made us realize that, like, oh shit, this game straight up isn't for us, huh?
It's for Japanese people, not for Americans, 100%.
It's for a level of
but,
Japaneseness that we can only aspire to.
Yeah.
Hold up, someone's spamming me. Anyway, so Armored Core 4, you are the pilot White Glint. So you're always a nameless pilot. You pick your call sign. right? So you have your call sign, and then you have your mech's name, and then you have the operator. The operator is always like, that's the narrator, because they're telling you what to do.
Yeah.
They're literally a outsourced person hired by whatever organization to guide you through your mercenary contracts, because you are a cog in the machine. It's always a theme with Armored Core.
Now,
And,
my Japanese is a little rusty, hun, but I'm out here in Georgia. I'm going to get you through it.
Well, the thing is, they're usually, because it's a sci-fi setting, so comms are always scrammed. They're in like a helicopter.
Yeah.
So if you fuck up, they're dead too.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So, or typically like that's more. I think it's an Armored Core 5, but a lot of them, yeah, that's usually the case. So with White Glint, you have like the chick. She's telling you what to do. Blah blah blah. You do it. I don't remember the exact plot, but okay. Armored Core for Answer, the second one. Great pun, right? You from the last game is the ace pilot, like, and they play the Dex build. They're basically the Dark Souls guy that only has Dex, and so they're going to cut you apart piece by piece, and you can't actually hit them, can you? For Answer in Armored Core 4 was the first Armored Core that was like, you have to make a mech for every single level, or you're going to fail. Period. The end. So you have to go and farm the money to be able to make a mech for every single situation. And the only way me and my big brain nerd friends could figure out how to kill White Glint is to flood the entire map with missiles.
Yep.
I'm not going to aim. I'm going to fill the
I
entire
remember Missile
air.
Boat Day.
Yeah, we made a missile boat.
Hell
and literally just flooded the air with missiles. We can't miss, where we have so many target locks on you. And we still missed, and we still almost lost.
Yeah, that
because
was
White Glint is that fast.
horrible.
And For Answer has, so as From Software games typically do, branching paths for story.
Mm-hmm.
For Answer has the most grimdark storyline path I've ever seen in a video game.
Really?
Because you can be hired by a terrorist. It's a unique contract. You do a certain thing in a certain level. A terrorist, I think he's a terrorist. Chad, if I'm fucking this up, roast me. But basically, a terrorist is like, hey, you know how a huge number of our population lives on floating cities that are airplanes? Why don't we shoot those down? And you kill 1 billion people. You slaughter 1 billion people like they're ants, because as far as this guy's concerned, they are. And if you do that, another mission unlocks where you get buddied up with White Glint, and you're like, okay, you guys are the two guys. You are the big dude guys. The corporations love you, so you're going to go and fight over here and do a thing. And you're going into the wasteland with Dragon Ball Z, and White Glint's operator's like, none of this makes sense. None of this checks out. Why are we going here? And then all the other ace pilots, like 10 of them, show up. And it's the hardest fight in all of Armored Core history, because you're a fucking monster. We have to kill you.
Yeah.
And
they're right.
And their opening move is they shoot down White Glint. Like, the opening move is they slaughter them like a dog. And now it's 1v10. Are you a bad enough dude to beat Armored Core?
Are you
That's
a bad
cool.
enough dude to take your Osama bin Laden style ass through victory now?
I think that's cool though, because like, especially going back to how you said like you had so much trouble with that guy, and then it's like, oh, just to see him get knocked out instantly. It's
If
like,
I
oh
remember correctly,
shit.
yeah, because like the operator's like, something's fishy, and then like Hall Horse Sniper Armored Core, like, I'm the world's best sniper, blows them away, like, or something like that. And it's like, yeah, we're taking you down because you're a fucking war criminal, you idiot. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
Street justice.
What a crazy... Yeah, it's just... So as far as, like, grim dark fantasy goes, like, they've been crushing that since before Dark Souls was a thing. So, From Software, excellent company.
Yes.
I specifically wanted to talk about it because I had been playing through Elden Ring DLC. I'm currently bashing my head against the wall against Radon.
Oh my god,
Because he's
dude.
a bastard. And he hits like a goddamn truck, and
Alright, so
I'm gonna make you cringe so hard while I'm playing a sorcerer.
I don't care. I don't. When it comes to the DLC, I don't care
I heard
what
that.
you need to
I heard
do
that.
to beat the DLC. Do it.
So that's-
because I think that like all of their DLCs have always been harder than the base game. That's just a fact. If you've
Orphan
played
of Coast,
yeah, like
hate that guy.
I've played. So I haven't played Demon Souls because I don't have a PS5. I play on my PC, but I've platinumed Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, and Elden Ring.
And my crew is hard, but
If I'm missing any other of them,
I've done the same, except I'm missing Sekiro. Sekiro's the one.
dude, Sekiro's so
I know,
good.
but I can't, for the life of me, figure out the timings. Like, even in the tutorial guy, I like.
Oh, no.
I don't know what it is. Like, I could not. I'll revisit it one day.
You got it,
but,
dude.
like,
It's so good. It's one of my favorites.
Because yeah, everyone else is like, "What do you mean? It's awesome." And I'm
It's
just like, I
amazing.
don't-
It's just
You have to play Dex build.
Yeah, the play
You
style
have
is
to
just
play Dex
different
build.
from
You're a
the Souls
samurai.
games.
You don't have that. You're not allowed to have full play. You're a samurai.
But
Yeah.
like going back to the DLCs always being harder, I do think this is probably their hardest DLC, and it's not. I mean, I've beaten it. I've beaten Radon and everything. Spoilers. Moog gets killed in the base game, and Mikola resurrects his body, and Radon's killed in the base game, and he transports his soul into Mog's body, and that is now his consort, because gay, from Software, it's so good. I love it, but so anyway, you're fighting Radon again, reborn.
In his prime.
In his prime. So you know how, like, if anybody's played the game...
he can use Moog's blood magic also.
He can. So,
Fucking bitch.
Melania had
That's
to
a fun
literally...
way to just combine bosses, like mechanics, to make a more interesting fight.
So, like, Radon in his prime, like, you don't even get to see him until now. But, like, through context in the story, in the intro cutscene, it's talk about how Melania, who is the, what is she called? The right hand or whatever. She's like...
She's the Blade of Mikola.
The Blade of Mikola.
And she is also an Empyrean, which
Yes.
basically just means you're a candidate for godhood.
Yeah.
Same as Mikola. And she also has the corruption and, basically is possessed by a outer god of rot.
Yes.
Sick.
And that's
So
why
her
she's
whole thing
all
is-
super fucked up.
Scarlet Rot, which is like the poison of all poisons in FromSoft games. But her and Radon in his prime were fighting, and the only way that she could beat him was to literally unleash everything that she had rot-wise and turns the area into what we know as Caelid, just a rot-infested piece of shit. And so Radon still was badass enough to continue to live and simultaneously hold back the stars of the sky.
And put her into a coma
And
until
put
we,
her-
the player, find her.
God damn, bro.
So that beast of the man gets resurrected into the final boss of the DLC, which is going back to, I don't give a fuck what build you have to do to beat that dude. It doesn't matter.
Dude, that's the thing is I've not struggled with anything else except Mesmer.
Yeah.
Mesmer did kick my ass for a long
But
time.
Mesmer's a cool fight.
It is. He's very... I couldn't
Whereas
be mad
Radon-
about it because
yeah.
it was like... The only problem was just like, I'm going to get him or he's going to get me.
Yeah.
But then Radon is like, it doesn't matter what I fucking do. Like,
So this is my one criticism of the DLC, maybe two, is I do think it's a bit too hard, but they give you the scatter tree things and you can beef up your build. But Radon has to be, I think, one of the worst bosses that they've made. I really do think so, because the AoE is just so fucking gigantic, and his attack combinations are like 10 hits. It's like one of those fights where you dodge or tank 10 hits in a row, get one hit in. Dodge or tank 10 hits in a row, get one hit in, and the dude's HP is absurd.
God
Yeah,
bless.
you're
Like,
fighting-
it's absurd.
It's a stamina fight.
so it's like
It is.
Bloodborne bosses, like, proportionally have, like, way more health than, like, Souls bosses and stuff or whatever. He essentially has that health pool of a Bloodborne boss. The final boss, basically. Like, you're fighting the Orphan of Ghosts with a ridiculous moveset. And
Yeah.
it's just, like, it's hard.
Yeah. And it sounds like a lot. It sounds like a lot of work.
It is.
But I don't play the Souls games. I don't
But
do that. That's
it's
why.
still
Yeah.
a great game. But
Yeah,
then
don't get me wrong.
it made me remember, like, God, I fucking love FromSoft games. But it's like, the gameplay is part of it. Like, it's incredibly rewarding when you do finally get them. Like, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, oh
like,
God, yeah.
I took that fucker down. And then, but
The
really,
achievement, for sure.
what makes it beautiful, and then you touched on it, is that From Software, and I've never really seen it anywhere else, they're masters of indirect storytelling.
Yes.
Whereas I would be guaranteed, I think, that like the majority of people, when they play through these games, don't know the story like basically at all.
Can I
They
interrupt
think
for a moment?
hard game hard, me good at beating it. That's
So-
what they do.
I think especially this is where it's going, but environmental storytelling is incredible and they're very good at it. But the way that I have had to explain like what is environmental storytelling to somebody who doesn't like understand the concept is, okay, well imagine you go to the bathroom and there's a glory hole there, and there's a bunch of blood dripping from it.
Oh my
man.
god! Yeah, that's environmental.
Yeah.
That is
Right
environmental
there.
storytelling because it makes you think about what happened there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
specifically, it's like every main, like they'll give you the bare minimum you need to know to like what I need to do next.
Yeah.
And like that is functionally all you get of the story in large part. And then most of the rest of it comes from item descriptions.
Yeah.
And then if you want to know the whole story, you got to go and get everything.
And
you got to read it all.
every
and then
single
you gotta
item.
cross-reference and then match that up with the events of the game itself, and then what like NPCs will tell you and stuff like that. And it's just a lot. Or you just watch someone else who's done that already.
Or you can just watch Vadi, and he'll tell you everything, and then you can just pretend that you know what he's talking about.
Even then, you never get 100% of the story.
Yeah.
And then it leaves room for speculation, so that like if
which is what makes it a mythos.
which is great, because then at that point it's like, if you know these are the things we definitively know, speculate from there. Whatever you think is as valid as the next person. Doesn't matter.
That's something I'm trying to capture in my own novel.
Yeah, and then the other part that they're really good at is that the mechanics of the game are baked into the storytelling as well. So for context, I was trying to think of the perfect example of this, and then I settled on the final boss fight of the first Dark Souls game.
Oh, yeah.
And so for context,
Both of them
I'm-
instantly
I
know what
love
they're
this.
talking
Yes,
about.
yes.
This is Mario's payback for the
Yes.
WoW talk,
I
lad.
know about this. So someone who would explain Dark Souls to me explained this to me, and that's why I know it's a great game. Continue.
Yeah.
So, for context, like in Dark Souls, the main story is the world is dying. The first flame, which basically created the world functionally, and then near it was the four great souls. One was taken, the soul of light was taken by Lord Gwyn, who became king of the gods. He's a Zeus.
Yeah.
That's just flat out.
Pretty much.
With just like with a European aesthetic, and then he created the city of the gods, and then this vast empire and everything. It's like, well, the first flame is now dying. So what did Gwyn do? Well, in a last desperate act, he burned himself to rekindle the first flame to continue the age of fire. Because if he didn't do that, then the dark would take over.
Dark Souls? I'm sorry.
Yes.
And so the dark is just this impending thing that's never clearly defined to you at first until later on. But basically, to stave off the dark, Gwyn sacrificed himself. Neat.
Like
Okay.
a badass.
Well, now at the start of the game, the dark is now coming again, and then what comes with that is the curse of the undead, which afflicts humans specifically to where they become undead. Now you cannot die. And then
That's why
that kind of sucks, because if your options are to fight and try to find a way to cure the curse of the undead, which is just rekindle the flame, or you go hollow, which is you lose your humanity and you just become a husk, and now you're just a zombie man. You have no personality, and that is a lot of the enemies in the game is just the regular dudes are just hollowed humans.
right.
They have lost. They have
And they
lost
still
the
can't
fight.
die, so they'll respawn.
And that's
Yeah.
why
Yep.
They're in hell.
that's why if you die and
Yeah.
respawn, they're back too now.
Yeah.
But then that's also part of the beauty of the mechanics, and it's just so, if you pick up Dark Souls, you are playing as the undead. You are the chosen undead, or more accurately, a chosen undead.
Right.
And you're trying to fight through, and then so, if you give up because a boss is too hard, you went hollow.
You, in reality...
In real life,
Yeah.
yeah.
You became
Yeah,
a hollow.
that's so deep, man.
You
That's
are not
beautiful.
the chosen undead. Someone else will do it.
the
You
difficulty
have
of the
faith.
game is baked into the lore.
Yes.
That's
Also,
wonderful.
something cool is in Dark Souls 1 specifically, there's those bell towers that you have to ring.
The Bell of
And
Awakening.
The game is online. You don't have to play it online, but that's how you summon people, and you see their dead vestiges and their blood stains and all that. But when anybody in game rings those bells, you hear it in your game. So people are playing through the game, and you'll hear a bell ringing. It's because somebody in the game actually just rung that bell, which is kind of cool mechanic
is
that I
cool.
like.
I do, yeah, so, alright. Anytime you make a game where you design game mechanics into the lore itself, like Metal Gear Solid being like, I'm Psycho Mantis, I can read all your moves.
Yeah.
But if you read the instruction manual, you can unplug your controller, put it into slot 2, and now he's like, ah, shit! Or maybe it's the memory card, one of the two.
I know he reads
It's
your
your
memory
controller.
Yeah, it's the memory card.
Yeah.
No, you unplug your controller,
Yeah, but he does read your
but he
memory
reads
card.
your memory card because he says things like, "Oh, so you like to play Castlevania?"
The meme, brother, the
That's the meme, yeah.
Yeah, so like anytime you pull some shit off like that, I thoroughly enjoy it. There was one KOTOR. KOTOR did that excellently. Like my favorite, like big spoiler on KOTOR. You're the Sith Lord, and they eventually explain to you that, like, yeah, when you kill people, you don't get stronger, idiot. You're eating their souls.
What are you talking about? Experience points. Those were people.
Yeah, you're getting all your fucking Sith powers back. That's what's happening. You don't level up. What are you, stupid? Great design.
I like that.
And another one is going back to the same company, Obsidian or whatever, Bethesda, is Morrowind. Mario explained to me. I haven't beaten Morrowind, but the idea, I think it's Vivek or one of the three of the Triarch or whatever, won't fight you because he knows you can save. He knows you're going to save and you're going to keep reloading until you beat me, so I'm not going to fight you. Duh. I know you're going to win. You're the Neverrain or whatever, and that means you get to save. That's what makes you the guy, is that you get to save. No one else gets to save.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That was just another beautiful thing of Dark Souls that you don't save. It's
Yeah.
all auto
yeah.
saves.
Yeah, that's...
But going back to that, the example I wanted to describe was Gwyn's boss fight, which is, so you've made it to the final area of the game, you've defeated the four lords, you've taken their souls, you now have the right to challenge Lord Gwyn. And so you're thinking to yourself,
The strongest human
Yeah.
that's ever existed.
God,
Link's,
he's a god.
He's a god.
And then you're wondering, and just like, wow, what is this going to be like? This has been a hell of a game. Then you make it to the final area, and you're greeted to a gray land of ash that is very sparsely populated with enemies. The only enemies that are in there, Black Knights.
Black Knights, yeah.
And there's not that many of them. And then Black Knights are pretty tough, but eventually you get real good at fighting them, and you're not scared of them anymore. Like, I know how to kill these dudes.
The first one you
You're the guy
encounter
now.
is very early on, and he will fuck you up. And by that time, you're just big dicking it.
You're the
and
guy.
You're the guy.
The guy.
Yeah.
You have the four spirits. You're the guy, clearly. Now it's time to fight the other guy. And yet...
And then you make it all the way to Gwyn's boss door, and you're like, alright, how's this going to go down? What's going to happen?
I've saved all my consumables.
And importantly,
Yeah.
Dark Souls and basically From Software games in general are known for their like grand epic scores for their boss fights and everything. So as soon as you pass through that boss door, you're then greeted with this music.
That's where this music
A
is
soft,
I know about it
sad, very simple piano tune.
from memes.
Yeah.
There's no cutscene. Nothing happens. Nothing is told to you. Gwyn just starts attacking you. And at first, if you like me, you were a newbie and you didn't know like good builds or anything. It was just like my strategy was throw up my shield, and then if I can't block something, dodge roll, like see how this goes, and then I poke you to death. Like that's how I managed to get through the first game basically. And then that strategy not very good against Gwyn. He hits like a truck. But he has a very simplistic boss pattern.
So easy.
And so if you try to just sit there and tank all his sword swings, like he's gonna break your stance, and then you're just wide open, and he's gonna get your ass. And so I got kind of frustrated, so I was just like, well, let me just have some help. Let me watch someone else fight this guy. And then how you're supposed to fight Gwyn is you parry him. He's very easily parried.
His parry window is so it's so huge and it's so telegraphed, and it's just like it's so easy to parry, and then it becomes a cakewalk.
And then once you figure that out, you're like, oh, this is easy as hell. Like, this is weird. Like, why is this so easy? And then if you have the context of like the full story in mind, you begin to piece together like this is supposed to be easy. Like,
He's a husk of a man that he used to be.
We were never going to fight the king of the gods in a grand, epic, climactic battle.
Those days are long gone.
I'm fighting an old man who has sacrificed everything in desperation. My job was never to kill the king of the gods. I'm here to put someone down.
You are effectively murdering Viserys from House of the Dragon while he's like, his eye is gone and he's an old man in a bed. And you're like, it's time to kill the king. That is what you're doing in Dark Souls.
Once you piece it all together, then you can look at his boss title, and you're like, wow, Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. He is now the King of Ashes. Everything he built is crumbling.
It's all gone.
Didn't matter. He sacrificed everything he possibly could. It wasn't enough. And so you put him out of his misery, and then you make the choice of whether am I going to continue the Age of Fire and relight the flame, sacrificing myself, doing exactly what he did, or do I let the flame fade and usher in the Age of Dark, which is the age of humanity? And so canonically what happens is, yes, the chosen undead chooses to relight the flame, and the story goes on. But then it's just, if you don't have the context of what that is, you probably think that boss fight is terrible.
Yeah.
But if you know everything,
Suddenly
I
very
think
meaningful.
that is one of the most beautiful fights in like all of gaming.
So my friend, when he my first explanation of this was from a guy. I guess I don't play from software. I play from software games. I play Armored Core, and I'm an arrogant bastard. I'd always talk shit about Dark Souls games because I didn't play them, and I'm like, I like heavy objects, not knights in armor, which is a heavy object. So like, it's literally that's the joke. So he was like, he basically gave me this whole rundown about like the story of like basically the Sacred Flame, like what it means, blah blah blah. And he's telling me this. He's telling me all of this as he's doing that last part, all the Black Knights and stuff. He's like, let me show you how this game actually looks. Let me show you how this game actually looks. So you don't care about spoilers, do you, Turn? I'm like, no, I don't care about spoilers. And so I'm like watching it, he's explaining it, and I'm like, I'm engrossed. I love lore. And so I'm watching, it's like he's playing a Knight Builder with a parry, he has a big old sword, he's like, ha. And I'm like, I'm so engrossed in what he's telling me. And then he literally, as he's like finishing, just what Mario just said right now, and I'm like, wow, dude, that... It's crazy that he did like all that, and then he goes to the door and the piano plays, and I started crying. I started crying because that is literally like the father that gave everything for his children, and it wasn't enough. It was never enough. It was never going to be enough, but he did it anyway, and now it's time to rest, old man. It's time to rest. Like that's fucking. I'm tearing up just thinking about it, man.
And to fast forward to Dark Souls 3, and I won't go too heavily onto this, but funnily enough, also I think like the final boss of Dark Souls 3 isn't terribly hard. He is hard, but Soul Ascender, which ties back into Gwyn.
Exactly.
What I love about that fight the most is that you go to the final area and you fight the Soul Ascender, and it's essentially every single person that's ever linked the flame ever. So you're fighting this entity that he'll start off and he'll have like a gigantic like a longsword. He'll be fighting with a longsword, and all of a sudden he's shooting sorceries at you, and he has all these sorceries. And then he's shooting lightning bolts, and he's doing a faith build, and then he's got katanas and curved great swords, and he's fighting you with a dex build. So all these like players that have linked the flame, he does that. And then after you get him about like halfway through health, he's like, oh, he's fucking me up. He breaks out the greatest soul that he's ever had, and it's fucking Gwyn. So he turns into Gwyn essentially, and then that piano song starts playing again, but slightly different.
It's
and
more intense. It's boss
just,
fight music
and
now.
it's like, that's so fucking cool that they're like,
it's poetic.
Let's break out the biggest soul. So like you never see him in his prime until Dark Souls 3. You get like the essence of how he was in his prime,
right?
Which
and
is like
that's
really cool.
a boss.
More
fight,
of like a hologram
man.
of who he was then.
Yeah.
Beautiful storytelling.
Then at the end, once you do defeat the Soul of Cinder, and it's like, well, we don't know what the Ashen One decided to do because we don't have anything following this game. But then if you do choose to light the flame again, in the first game, you're engulfed in this giant inferno, and then like it fades out on your character just burning themselves. And then in 3, if you choose to light the flame, this like pathetic like amount of fire like just slowly coats you, and your character almost looks like underwhelmed, and you just kind of sit down and like let it slowly just burn
Entropy,
you up.
man, entropy.
Because the flame should have died so long ago.
Which is why the best ending of Dark Souls 3, in my opinion, is the bad ending.
Yeah.
Where you become I forgot what like the title is, but you become like the Lord of Darkness essentially, and you just let the fire fade into nothingness, and you become like the god of like undeath and undead. Just let that shit die, and I'll just be the strongest undead ever, and then life. It's, I don't know. I love it.
Imagine a future installment where it's now the end of the Age of Darkness, and there's going to be a new Age of Light.
That would be great.
So one of the
bit is that it's
the
just
secret
Rainbow
ending,
Unicorn
right?
attack.
When you summon the Firekeeper to there.
Oh yeah.
And then she you put it out like together, and then she explains. She's just like, yes, the Age of Dark will happen, He's like, but the flame will return.
Right.
Like, this was how
Nothing
it,
is
this was how it was
supposed to turn.
always supposed to go down. Like,
Yeah.
that's why, like,
Some people just weren't willing to let go yet.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just
exactly.
like-
It's about letting go, man.
it was supposed to let it come to a natural conclusion, and then we as the player didn't let that happen for basically,
First two
3 whole
games,
games.
Yeah.
And then, but then she explains that it's like, no, it's cyclical. It will come back. But now it is the time for dark. It's just,
And another
God,
going back to
absolutely
like
beautiful.
themes within the IP itself or the company itself. It is such a dehumanizing game because you are not a human. Like that itself is poetic.
Were I writing the continuation, it would be the Age of Dark. Basically, all of humanity is immortal, undead, but they all go hollow at one point. And then we have an era of mystery. We have no idea what happened. And then you aren't a new guy. You just unhollowed.
Like Dr. Stone.
You just came back eventually.
That'd be pretty awesome, actually.
And that was like the indication that like the light is going to return or something. That were it up to me, that's how I would write it.
That would be a fun
Yeah,
premise
that
for
would.
a game. Like the idea that like you're basically like Dr. Stone with zombies, like but like instead of being like actual zombies, it's like you become a full-fledged guy again.
Yeah.
Like you were falling apart like a drooling ashen husk, and then you inflated, and now there's light in your eyes. You're like, huh.
Yeah.
And it would be fun to see a mechanic like Dr. Stone where you have to choose like X, Y, and Z boss. I can kill the boss or unhollow them.
Yeah.
But if I unhollow them, I don't get their loot or the XP. So at a certain
you
point,
get
you're
lore.
trading off like you get lore. Exactly.
Yeah.
You get lore. If you kill that guy, you don't get to know his story, and so it forces replay. Like anyone listening to this, you better make this game. I'm giving you gold right now. So
If there are secret non-governmental agents who are like pro-capitalism and want to make video game dollars, please.
No, I do. I did like want to turn Pennsylvania into a video game character. I was thinking I wanted to make.
I remember that was.
Yeah, I want to do like an Odin Sphere game
Yeah.
about him trying to save Lagerfeld. But like it's basically the opposite of your campaign.
And then some guys got involved.
And then some guys got involved, and then the wrong guy possessed his sister, and now the Age of Darkness is upon us, and we'll figure that out when I start DMing again. Fun stuff.
As far as characters going like hollow and stuff, like it's pretty much like almost outright stated that like at the end of the Dark Souls 3 DLC that like pretty much everyone has like this place is like beyond, like this is like at the end of time essentially.
Yeah.
And then there's nobody here really except one guy.
Yeah. Out here fucking shit up with katanas.
Well, that's Patches.
Oh yeah.
And Patches, he's the one character.
Of course,
that
Patches.
appears
Why
in
didn't I think of that?
everything.
God bless.
And he's a bastard. He in every single game he tricks you.
Who the fuck is Patches?
I thought you knew who he
I have no
was.
fucking idea.
So Patches is
Who
a
could
guy.
forget Patches?
Patches
Yeah, I
is a
don't
guy.
know.
He is in every single Souls game, and his whole thing is like what Mario's about to say is like he's a dick who tries to trick you into things like. If you come across Patches, you're getting pushed off a ledge at some point.
Oh.
You're getting locked
In
in
the
a
first game
cage.
twice.
Yeah, he's gonna
I've
be like,
come to
"Oh,
betray you."
There's something.
Yes,
Yes, he is a traitor
every single
awesome.
time.
and a traitor.
And it's better because you know it's coming.
And because every single time he says like, "Oh, hey man, like, come on,
Yeah.
like, it was a goof.
It's me.
We're buddies, right? Like,
So
we've
P-Dog.
known each
Yeah.
other for so long at this point, and then you can just choose to forgive him, every time, and then every single time he'll just betray
Right.
you again.
Every
You're-
time.
You're wrong to do it every time, and yet that's probably the canon way to go about it.
But the context of him appearing in every game is kind of wild because it's like we don't know how much time has passed between these. Like,
Right.
Like
That's why there's so much mystery to the lore.
the whole thing is that like empires rise and fall all the time. We don't know how many of these have happened.
Yeah.
Like
And it's funny because Bloodborne's universe is completely separate from like the Dark Souls universe, but he still makes an appearance in Bloodborne. But if you know like Bloodborne, it's like Eldritch horror, like
There's interdimensional shit happening all
yeah,
the
there's
time.
interdimensional shit. There's like weird stuff, so it's not going to be weird for me to say he appears as a spider with his head on the spider body, and he still
Of course.
pushes you over a cliff.
Yep.
Except like where usually he's like, oh, there's some items over there. You go have a look,
Right.
and then he,
Ha-ha!
yeah, he's gonna push you. This one, there's just a trail of like gold shiny coins, and obviously as a player, you're just like, oh, I'm gonna go check this out.
Ooh, piece of candy.
And then as you
Ooh,
go to
piece of candy.
as you go to check it out, a cutscene starts playing, and then you're in his POV, and he like jumps down and like runs up to you and just pushes over the ledge into like a poison swamp where I don't really remember what enemies are down there, but
It's the Nightmare Frontier.
it's in the Nightmare Frontier, but I don't remember which enemies are like down at the bottom.
Was because the whole time.
Something annoying.
Whole time.
Well, because an important note about Patch's character is he
Pushing down
hates
a hole.
religious people,
Yeah, got it.
and like to the point where it's like if you're playing like a cleric wearing like the cleric set,
Uh-huh.
like he'll tell you like, "Ew, you're an idiot."
Gross.
Like,
I love that.
Religion is dumb.
Oh
Like,
man.
uh,
What a meaning. What a
I bet you're
meaning.
circumcised.
And so
Get down
it's-
in the hole.
So it's
Aye.
super weird that in Bloodborne, he keeps talking about his god, the Amygdala.
Oh man.
And then,
yeah.
so the first
Spoiler
thing
alert for Brody's campaign.
the first thing he tells you to do is, you should like check out this like hidden church place. Like, you'll find something really cool. And then so you go
do.
in there. And if you go to the middle and you don't have the right amount of insight yet, from your perspective, you just get scooped into the air and then like crushed, and then your character explodes, and you're like, "What the
Fun.
fuck
Hold up,
just
are you
happened?"
are you saying that if you don't have enough insight, the cutscenes like show you less?
So when you hit,
That's hilarious.
There are a
It's
bunch
all
of
about like
Goonies floating
opening up your
around, yeah.
mind.
So-
Yeah.
I have
It's
a point-
great.
I love that.
I'm
It's
waiting to make a
fantastic.
point about this. Yeah,
There's
keep going.
there's a point where like what Mario's getting at is like he'll pick you. There's something invisible picks you up if you don't have insight to see it. But once you do get enough insight,
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's these horrible monster things called amygdalas, which are giant, like tentacle-faced, like hideous.
They're just
four-armed
Cthulhu's
beasts.
by any other name.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's just that certain areas of the game, this just happens to you. And
Oh.
then, like, you get scooped up and you just die. And you're like, what the fuck was that? And then later, when you get enough insight, you can now see them. It's like, oh, fuck.
They've always
been there
been
the
here.
whole time.
yeah, they've
They're just floating
always
around
been
chilling.
here.
Just
That
at
one
the
doesn't like
fringe
it.
of
Yeah.
your sight, just behind where you can see.
So
Just
the-
behind the veil.
So
Just
the,
behind the
the
veil.
Patches quest line wraps up with when after he pushes you into the thing, he says like, "Hey, you should go check out this one spot." Like, and you can, isn't it great? I'm giving you an audience with my god, and then you go and you can fight the Amygdala, and if you kill it and go back to him, he's just like, "What? you killed the god? All right, cool. We're buddies, right? Hey, come on."
Back to his old tricks.
Hey,
Back to his
It's
old
me, your
tricks.
buddy. What's
It's
he
old
called?
P-Dog.
He's like Trusty Patches. Is that what he calls himself, or something like
It's
that?
yeah.
It's some shit where it's like anybody has to call himself trustworthy. It's just like, hey, it's me,
Yeah.
trustworthy Will.
Yeah, it's
It's
Yeah.
like,
and then this version,
Someone's
You
That's
can
about you.
trust
Patches
me,
Spider.
Crimes Johnson.
He's,
Yeah.
He wraps it up with basically just like, well, yeah, I was planning on getting the move on anyway.
Best be hitting the old
Yeah,
dusty trail.
dude. And then so you don't really like do anything with him past that. Then like if you think about it from the context of the Patches character, it's like maybe he's such a smarmy lying bastard that maybe
He might have just put you on a hit.
Well, he might have been trapped here by the Amygdala in its service, and he sent you to go kill it for him.
Yeah.
damn, I didn't even thought about that.
I
Actually,
love that, man. I love that. Okay, so the thing I wanted
They
to
put
bring
me
up-
on this fucking spider.
So the thing I wanted to bring up, the cutscene, the intro cutscene to Bloodborne is cinematography. Yeah, cinema. It's great. It's gold. It's solid gold. The chilling conversation between a mentor and a student of differing about what progress means and how to attain that progress, and the idea of concepts of eyes versus blood. I love that imagery and the conversation they have, and how basically like the metaphor of blood not just being like a different approach to like flesh versus mind, but the idea of literal like violence. Like I intend to take a short path because you're an old man, you didn't make anything. I'm a young buck and I'm going to succeed. You failed, old man. And the old man is so detached from any of that, doesn't acknowledge his passion, doesn't acknowledge his achievements, because he's already attuned to eyes, man. He's already awakened. He doesn't give a shit about you in a mortal coil, you stupid idiot. And furthermore, the reason why I love the idea of being attuned to eyes. The idea of being attuned to like and how detached that would make you. If you can see everything everyone else sees, that is the most Azathoth, or is that the one, the fucking guy that knows everything and you go insane because of it? Is your old god?
That's Yogg-Sothoth.
Yogg-Sothoth. That is the epitome of Yogg-Sothoth, and that is some of the most Eldritch Horror shit. That it's like, oh, that sounds really cool. No, it doesn't. No, it fucking doesn't. You see what everyone sees. You see everyone being tortured. You see everyone doing the torture, being tortured, watching their loved ones die, watching themselves being slaughtered, being hopeless, being in the deepest of voids, deepest of pits. You see all of it. You see all of it. And he's just chilling in his fucking chair.
I was gonna say, and he's just chilling, rocking back and forth on his chair.
Yeah, so he's rocking because he's comforting himself. Like a baby.
That's crazy.
And that's why he doesn't give a shit that you kill him.
Yeah.
He's literally rocking himself into a stupor because he sees everything and it's horrifying.
And something crazy about that character model in general is that, like, you know how you can, like, if you have your person and you walk up to a wall and you turn the camera and you can, like, see inside of their character model. If you go up to him and you turn the camera, you can see inside of his character model.
Oh, what?
And there's just eyes everywhere on the inside of his character model.
Oh, it's so cool!
It's really fucking cool. It's a nice
point,
little Easter egg.
Point of my rant, I stole that idea of being attuned to eyes for my book. Like, that's going to be a thing that comes up. Not in the same way, but like in the same Eldritch Horror of like, oh, you think that sounds cool, but you're an idiot because you think that.
Yeah.
So then the thing about it though is that you need both.
Yeah.
You need to imbibe enough blood, and then you also need to line your brain with enough eyes, and that's the insight. And then at the end of it, if you've done both of those things, and then you've also, I don't know how to take this out of the context of like
eaten 3 umbilical cords.
If
you've eaten 3 umbilical cords, just move past it. Just move past it.
They're full of vitamins.
And you've done both of those, and then I mean, you know,
Tastes like licorice.
and then you can challenge the secret hidden boss, the Moon Presence, who is the host of the Hunter's Dream. And if you kill it while you've met those conditions, guess what? You are now reborn as an infant Great One. You are now master of the Hunter's Dream.
Based
You have ascended to horrifying Cthulhu godhood.
And the ending cutscene is the doll who, like, you level up with. She's like a really pretty doll. She's cradling you in her arms, and you're literally just like a
baby.
Yeah, you're like
a worm.
You're like a worm Cthulhu monster.
It's a
Tentacle
baby.
beast,
Yeah, a little tentacle baby.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, aren't you cute?" Basically,
Yeah.
I'm gonna raise you.
Like
And
the
it's
like the
which
Men
is-
in Black
what-
alien baby.
Which is
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I can show you. It looks like an eggplant.
part of why that's so cool is because it is the only. So in the Souls games, like you are like praying to the person that levels you up. Like you are kneeling and like subservient, like lower than them.
Yeah.
And in the Bloodborne games, she kneels to you. She's your servant. But then, yeah, because you are. She knows you're gonna be that. Basically, that's how I pieced that together. Like I don't know.
I could
She's
sort
she's
of.
like a nursemaid, basically.
I was gonna say I could
Yeah.
see that as like a metaphor for motherhood and like
Yeah.
inherently.
That
like,
is.
That's the
She
core.
is
That's the
that's
core of
theme
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And she's a nursemaid. She knows. Oh, you might be a baby god one day. I gotta be nice to you. Like
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you do for your children.
Uh-huh.
You like make yourself subservient in these ways to this truly lower being, but you know that it's in service of making them a greater and better thing.
Yup.
And
Poetic, man. It's
and,
fucking
and
poetic.
then you eat the umbilical cords,
Yeah.
and you fight the secret boss, and that's it.
Maybe I don't remember what the Men in Black thing looks like, but that's essentially you look like a little eggplant thingy.
Oh my!
That's what you
Little
turn
eggplant-
into at the
you're
end.
an eggplant baby.
Yeah, and that's like
It looks like she's holding an eel.
that's like the
it's
final
bad.
boss.
You're like
the
wriggling
secret
the whole
final
time.
boss.
Super gross.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
one thing Bloodborne does that none of the other games really do is that like you have 3 endings you can choose from. And then so that's the secret one where you gotta like do an extra thing or else you just don't get that option. And then your other 2 choices are the first final boss, Garmin.
Talking about good fight music.
Which is and it's also just like also very beautiful in that like he fights you so that you don't become him.
He literally is trying to save your
He's
life
trying to
by killing you.
so
Right.
you don't become enslaved. Essentially,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like don't do what I did. Like,
Yeah.
this is the greatest regret of my life.
And so also that final boss song is also very sad because essentially he's just like, oh, I think what he says is like, oh, you've had too much of the hunt or whatever. Like
Too much
you yearn
blood.
for, you
You're
yearn
drunk.
for the hunt. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're drunk on blood. Like, fine, I'll put you to rest, and then the fight starts. But going back to like the music though, really quick.
You're having too much fun in this game. Prepare to die.
From Software, they filmed all of that soundtrack, or most of the songs, I think. They got an orchestra and a choir, and they filmed it in like some type of church. That's where they recorded it, so it's all very
The
gothic,
acoustics,
and it's just really good.
Yeah, no, I love a good score. I think, like, a good score and how you approach music adds to a game so much than just, like, gameplay.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, it's all about aesthetics, right? And one of the things I'm a super simp for with Fire Emblem Three Houses is they have a concept called Rain and Thunder. I've explained this to you guys a few times, but I'll say it for the our lovely listeners. So when you are playing, and you're the overhead view, it's a tactical strategy game. So it's grid based. You move your units and they fight. So it's a bird's eye view, and a score is playing, and most of them are pretty good. And then when you have your units engage with their units, it zooms into the action, and then a different song that's the same song is playing over that. It's more intense, and so it goes to that when it zooms in. And I always love that, especially because the music is so good. And I put this on like an artistic level. Like this is more than just like a thing they're doing to where this is beautiful now.
Yeah.
Is if you do the Golden Deer playthrough, big spoilers coming up here. The last boss is Nemesis, who's like the big bad intro guy that like was killed thousands of years ago. And well, he's back. His ghost is back, and he's gonna whoop your fucking ass. So you have to go stop him. You have to get the baddest dude and stop him. And all of his ghost soldiers have all the heroes relics that you may or may not have accumulated, and you have to like fight like the ancestors, all their fucking characters at their prime. And like you come to find out they were not noble knights; they were all horrible marauders. And your entire history is it's a whole thing.
Just like everyone.
Yeah, your history's a lie, dude. It's so poetic because it's some real life shit.
Yeah.
Like Rhea is giving you a lie to make people better. Like, I'm a goddess, don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about what happened. Alright? Don't ask fucking questions.
Yeah.
Alright?
More
You don't want to
important
know the
shit.
truth. You don't want to know the truth.
Yeah.
And then Edelgard's like, oh, I know the truth. Genocide time, boys. So anyway, point being, you're fighting these fucking ghosts, and then the God-shattering star plays. And it is this opera music. It was my first exposure to the game. I was listening to the Doom Eternal soundtrack while leveling up Famfare on fucking Classic WoW. And the soundtrack ended, and my autoplay shifted to the God-shattering star. And I hear this, like, deep horn bum, bum, bum. And I'm like, okay, whoa, what's this? And it stirred my soul, and that's what first got me to play the game. And it's one of my favorite games of all time.
Hell yeah.
And I didn't know how cool that track actually was, because when you do the fight, it's playing Rain. And it's him singing. It's the boss singing the God-shattering star. He is the God-shattering star. Like, that's the whole point of the game.
That's why he's the bad guy.
He slaughtered all of the gods and turned them into weapons, and that's why all the weapons look like bones. They are bones. But the bones of the god beast that he killed, because he's the God-shattering star. And that's fucking cool, right? And then furthermore, the Thunder version, when you zooms down, it's him not singing, because he's beating your fucking ass.
I love that.
That's so cool! That's so cool! I'm not singing right now because I'm beating your fucking ass. I gotta breathe.
Yeah.
That's poetic.
That shit's
as fuck,
aerobic
man.
exercise. You gotta
That's beautiful.
keep your breath
That's
going.
beautiful.
So, also, kind of like the same thing with Baldur's Gate 3. When you fight Raphael, he sings his own fucking boss music, but if you cast silence on him, he stops.
He stops
singing. He stops singing. It's so fucking cool, dude. It's so awesome.
Yeah, see that's like going back to like stepping up your gameplay. Like everything should add to itself, and just even throwing something in that for like a boss fight or like a level is like you're doing yourselves a lot of favors, man.
Yeah.
By having like the level not just be a level, it's like an experience.
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah.
You know what this all comes back to?
What?
Every part should be the good part.
Every part should be the good part,
yeah.
man. And we brought this up a few episodes ago. Odin Sphere. You end up having to fight the World Serpent, and the level is the World Serpent. Like, so it's a
that's sick.
It's a Metroidvania game.
Yeah.
Where basically you walk. The map is circular, and you go in a circle, but then at a certain node you can go up, and that goes to the next
Because
branch.
he's wrapping around himself.
Yeah.
Because he's wrapping around himself. He is the Ouroboros. He is the World
so
Serpent.
cool.
So the entire level is his spine, and then his head will just come and fuck you up. And then after you beat it up, it fucks off, and you have to platform up the World Serpent to finish him.
To fight the thing you're on.
And the best part is, and this is a part I only recently had an epiphany for the beauty of it, the intended fight. So you don't have to do if in the final arc of Odin Sphere. There are 5 characters and 5 boss fights.
Right.
You can pick any character to do each of those boss fights, but then it gives you a different ending with each one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every character is supposed to do a certain boss, or you get the bad ending, period. If the Ragnarok happens, the world is over, you fucked up, you idiot.
Yeah.
But if you do every boss fight correctly, and they're with the correct characters, that ending causes the world to be saved. And that's why the little girl that's reading the books is alive, and she's the descendant of them. Like, that's the whole point. It's beautiful. The point being, the matchup for the World Serpent is the Valkyrie, because she can fly. Everyone else falls to their death fighting the World Serpent. Like, that's why they can't be the one to pick that.
Yeah,
And
like literally you kill it and then you die.
in the opening scene of Odin Sphere are the
Makes
Valkyries
sense.
flying down. And that is like the beginning.
That's so cool.
That's so fucking beautiful!
And there's kind of a reason like that for all of the boss fights.
You have to just think about it. You have to logically think about what would be happening here, and the symbolism behind. Like Mercedes has to fight Onyx, I think. Velvet has to fight the fucking Cauldron because that's like her destiny. Like, my family doomed the world with a Cauldron, so of course I'm going to be one to deal with the consequences of that. Oswald has to fight the fucking shadow demon undead thing and face the fact that he's possessed by darkness. He has to face the ultimate darkness to overcome his own darkness. Like, it's all...
That Odin Sphere is, especially Leaf Riser, not the original. The original had problems.
It's
but
not really playable.
The Leaf Riser, that is a perfect example of every part is the good part.
Yes, and furthermore, that is the best remaster I've ever played because it remastered the game. It wasn't a lie. Like, that was like the early age of remasters where, like, I think we had Devil May Cry 3 was the Devil May Cry remaster on PS3 was the first time I was like, oh, we're just releasing games now, you fucking shills. But then Leaf Racer came out and they turned it from being like, you have like a horrible melee system and everything was item based and it was like D&D second ed, everything was prep. Or more, it was more like classic WoW. Everything was prep. Like the raid itself, there were no mechanics, but if you didn't have the right tools going into the raid, you're dead anyway, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You don't get your war buffs, you don't get your consumes, you're fucking dead. What are you, stupid? Your class isn't good enough to do this. The shit you have and brought with you is why you do this. Well, Leaf Racer went from took it from that mentality to, okay, well now you have a bunch of really cool moves that you can unlock by platforming and stuff, and now it's a fighting game. You can actually program all these cool moves you get to fighting game commands. So if you play fighting games well, you play the game better. And
not only that, but they iterated and improved upon that inventory system that like sort of you needed to depend on in like the original, into a way that it was one more useful and intuitive, but it was also better at being the inventory they wanted in the first game. Like the way you were supposed to use the inventory in the first game is like the way you're supposed to use the inventory even in the remaster. But like it actually works now.
Yeah, before it was clunky and cumbersome, and you had to like think way too much about like, okay, I'm eating this apple to get XP and food, and now there's a stem here. This stem can take up space in my bag, or I can put it into this material, and that gives it material 1, and I need at least the material 2 to make this other item that I want to make. So I'm going to have to make sure that I save my Napple core and not throw it in Odette's pussy.
Yeah,
because that's how I beat my first playthrough of Valkyrie back in the original game, because it was clunky and terrible, and it's mostly you kiting and throwing shit at the boss, and you didn't bring enough shit, you lose.
Yeah.
Damn.
The combat too is like, it really lends itself to just like you figure out how you want to play.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So I remember you watched me play the Valkyrie, and then you commented on like, I didn't know that I could do that. Like, because I was just doing it differently than you, and then it was just interesting to hear that, because I was just like, oh, I just.
That's what felt natural to you.
This.
Yeah.
Like,
you can eventually get all the abilities and the powers, but you choose the rate you do it. So like, I played a flurry of blows and basically an evade build, and I don't even remember what he did. That's how different it was from what I did.
Well, it was specifically when I was using. There's the one of her specials where she just chucks a bunch of like ice at people. Basically.
Yeah.
Yes, the magic.
And then. Like, I just got into that habit of, like, I'll just spam that, like, 5 times. It's low cost, and that'll help me deal with, like, a beefy dude or something.
Right.
Or it can just take out chunks of mooks. And you're just like, huh.
Yeah,
I never thought to use it like that. And I was just like, oh. It just felt like easier than like trying. Like,
Yeah, I was doing these crazy fighting game combos and like juggling and shit and like do it because I was having such a field day being like, oh, the game is actually the game now. What? I get to play this beautiful story and juggle people like I'm in a fighting game? What do you mean? And yeah, just excellent imagery, excellent boss fights. Like, yeah, I guess a good game. Overall good game. Oh yeah, but yeah, fighting I literally been fighting for like the last boss of the first storyline.
The Queen of
I am
Hell,
out
right?
of everything. I have no health. I am basically resorting to flying as high as I can and then diving to scrape her to like top of her head and then running away as fast as I can before she can retaliate. And basically I have I have one bite of an apple or of a yeah, it was an apple.
It was an apple.
Yeah, so I have like one bite of it. I eat it to heal, and then like I panic. And I accidentally, like, I open my inventory again and I, like, click it, and I throw it right in that bitch's pussy and kill it.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
one, like, her
Yes.
frame
Sweet
the frame where she's vulnerable is because she has, like, a spider body. She literally spreads her legs like
She
that.
has, like, a kick thing.
Yeah, and that's, like, her vulnerable frame. So, like, that's just, you just get her.
Yeah.
Right in there, man. Right into the void.
And guess what? That's how you do it.
That's how you do it, man.
That's how you escape hell.
A win's
So
a win. A win's a win.
Yeah, a win's a win.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent, beautiful game. Yeah. Highly recommend. I'm going to probably plug that game, like, at least 20 more times. It's bad. It's my favorite, so.
Bringing it back to things that are... It's all supposed to be the good parts, but also, I guess, bringing in horrible, heartfelt frustrations. Let's talk about George R.R. Martin.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I think that he's really good at making every part the good part. Because, like, even when you're reading the characters in, like, Game of Thrones and stuff that, like, not your favorite characters, you're still pretty interested.
Yeah.
He's really good at that. And it's all built off relationships, which is, like, what the three pillars of writing is character story relationships.
Yeah.
Those are the three reasons why people read anything.
People don't really care what's happening. They care about what the people in that thing are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've never met or read anyone else who, like, really captures, like, real people
Yeah.
in his writing, and then like he's also very good at description, and then using like really weird like niche ways to like describe stuff and everything. And so I think genuinely I believe he is like one of the greatest writers of our time. Like
It's really
and
good.
It's
At the very least, he is good. That
Yeah.
is, like, undeniable.
extremely talented, and I'll always say that's why it makes me even more furious. Is because
Yeah,
how
we're
are
not
you
getting
going to
those
create
books.
this actual like masterwork and then let it die? Like
Yeah.
I cannot.
This isn't even like all those other like fantasy stories that, like, oh, then the author died, so we never got the end to it.
R.I.P. Mura.
But, like, they were working on those.
Yeah.
Yeah, R.I.P.
George, we see you doing the giant hamster ball on the ocean.
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
like, and it just because he
He
writes.
was doing that.
He did do that.
But it kills me because he is writing. It's just he's writing a bunch of bullshit that no one cares about.
Yeah, Hearts
like,
of the Dragon.
Yeah.
it's just, why are you going to give me these? Or he
I don't
wrote
want a
some,
prequel yet.
some
I think he like the last book he put out. I could be wrong, but it was just like a whole like history of the dragons
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
Targaryens had.
Yeah.
It's like that's cool, but
How about how about a
How
Song
about
of
that
Ice and
story?
Fire, though?
Yeah.
And then he wrote like another story about like two knights or something that also takes place like a couple hundred years beforehand.
Duncan
it's just
Egg
like
or-
fucking cool. Give me the shit I actually want to read.
Well, I have also this series on
Yeah.
Netflix that's about
It-
sci-fi aliens in a haunted ship.
The only excuse I'll give that is, as an aspiring author myself, I do intend to throw in like a background storybook of my villainess, just to explain and contextualize why she's such a bitch. But like, I want to do that after I finish my trilogy, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to. I'm not gonna like cock block my audience and be like, okay, we have a Paladin book and Robopocalypse book, and then here's some interesting backstory about a character. And none of this is actually going to come up, but I thought you would like to know.
Yeah.
I thought you'd like to know.
So I always think, like, in terms of like how I'd be remembered if I saw any level of success, trademark any level of success. But if I saw any level of success, I would like to be remembered as a George Lucas type man.
Oh, yeah.
Not in that like people think like, oh, people like say Star Wars is so great. I don't care about people thinking that my work is great. What I want to do is really outstay my welcome.
Yup.
Just keep adding more and more.
Fungo
Hairstylios.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Rob has that on pen.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah.
He just roast
He has
this
that
man
ready.
at demand. Yeah.
That's so funny.
The music is called Jizz.
Yeah.
Oh. What else they got?
I think a good name would be Darth Icky.
Darth Icky.
No, that was the one everyone was silent for. No one even pandered at him at that point. That wasn't like Outstanding Gambit, sir. No, it was like the room was silent.
Outstanding Gambit.
And he fucked off. He was like, okay, moving on.
Goodbye.
What was the other one? It was like Darth
Insanius?
Yeah, Darth Insanius!
That's not real.
real.
That's real.
That is real.
That is George Lucas talking about, like...
That's not real.
Someone
He should-
asked him
That's not
stuff.
real.
His name should be something cool like Darth Insanius
That's not
or
cool.
Darth Icky.
And the room was...
And the room fell silent.
Oh my
and
Everyone
then
was like, you're joking, right? And then he wasn't joking. His face was deadpan, and then he moved on.
he was, yeah.
And they're like, oh man, I really thought that was gonna
Yep.
be a home run. I thought
That
there was
was-
a run on that one.
That was George Lucas's please clap.
Yeah, that is a please
Yeah,
clap.
dude!
That is a please clap right there.
Anyway, that's what I want to be.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He'll be at Dark Icky in no time, man.
I want somebody to ask me something about my story, and like the opposite of this, I think, is J.R.R. Tolkien, which he's one of the kinds of authors that, like, if you were to ask him, like, so what happened after the end of the story, he'd be like, you closed the book. What do you mean? Like,
I love that about it.
that was it. Where the opposite of that is George Lucas, where it's like, what happened to Han Solo next? He fell in a wormhole and died, and Indiana Jones found him because it turns out that was on Earth.
Yup.
Really? Yeah.
And Chewbacca's the reason we have the legend of the South Spot.
And he's Bigfoot.
So I had to look up this guy's name. I'm sure everybody knows it. And I'm sure you guys know more about it. But I remember like the Death Sticks guy.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, like no one gives a fuck about that guy.
Yeah.
But then he was like, but people care about this guy. So here's his name. His name's Ellen Sleaze Bagano. It's like, dude, fucking come on. Like, are you kidding me?
He has his
That's
own collectible
hilarious.
figurine.
He does.
Yeah, I wasn't kidding.
Yeah,
Like-
he really does. It's just, yeah.
You bringing Chen to the Sleazebagano name.
You come today on the birthday of my daughter, and you have for me Death Sticks. You know, fuck out of here, dude. That's
Sleazebagano.
Oh my
Sleazebagano.
god, what a fucking dumbass. Oh my god.
Star Wars is very strange to me with its naming scheme because half of them are like... The only explanation is, oh, that was supposed to be Japanese.
Yeah, he's a weeb man.
But like, he doesn't know Japanese. He's an American guy in, like, the 70s. Some of them are like, oh, that was supposed to be Japanese. And the other one is like, and this is Kyle. And this... and this is Sleazebagano.
Yeah, dude. Like, okay, so one thing that I always found fascinating when I first started like being interested in communication and wanted to like make that my major, I took a history of mythology class, and basically that explained like what mythology truly means and how like it's just basically how people like explain their existence, where they came from, and yada yada yada. And there is a man, Joseph Campbell.
Yeah.
Basically, he's the monomyth guy. He's the guy he went around the world and talked to everyone about learned a shit ton of languages and talked to all of them about like, okay, how are you here, man? Like, what do you call the sun? Like, what do you all this shit? And he could get all their creation myths, and he assessed them and analyzed them and broke them down into the things that all had in common and made the monomyth. And George Lucas took one of his first classes and then immediately made Star Wars. That's how it happened.
I think I've got it.
The New Hope is just the monomyth.
To a T.
To a T. To like a disgusting T.
Yeah.
I did not
So,
know that.
It is one of the most like simplistic like one-to-ones.
The dumb
And that's
bastard
why it
gave me
destroyed
the
the box
treasure
office.
map to success.
Well,
I'm gonna bury him.
it was he had the fundamental
That's actually a
core
pretty good
story
George
of
Lucas,
any
if you're
story
familiar with his weird whiny
and
voice.
blockbuster
think I
special
am.
effects.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
sounds a
the
lot like
blasters.
that.
Yeah, he had basically the Michael Bay blaster. That laser effect was the first time it was used. It was in Star Wars.
Star Wars created the blockbuster as we know.
And one of my favorite permutations of that effect, when like it's like the arms race of special effects. So people saw Star Wars, and then we got Moonraker, the dumbest goddamn James Bond fucking film, and
Is
we
it
also
Moonraker
got
or Moonraker?
Oh, it was Raker.
Raker.
Oh,
That's
doesn't
fine.
matter.
I don't.
Doesn't matter.
I'm dumb. So like, yeah, the
I never watched it, so I was like, have I been mispronouncing it the wrong?
I've only like read. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
go on.
Point being, because I watched it with Rob, we were making fun of it the whole time, so I didn't take it too seriously.
Right.
I don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, point being, and then Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon is a fucking masterpiece. I love that.
With me, my Hawkman! Dive!
Once again, stealing that from my novel. Give me 50,000 words, people. 50,000 words, we'll get it.
Flash Gordon is so weird to me because it's one of the stories that they very much were like, we have to do Star Wars, but unfortunately there's only Star Wars right now. So they don't know what to do yet. So they threw everything at the wall.
Who's the quarterback?
Who's our main character? Well, everyone really liked Luke, and he was basically like an all-American boy in space. Let's put an all-American boy in space. He's quarterback. He's
Oh my God.
he's like the most popular man. He's really good, and he goes into space. And then he's got to deal with all these funny characters. And who should we make the villain? Well, the villain in Star Wars is very mysterious. And you know who's a very inscrutable people? The Chinese.
Oh no!
It's so racist, dude. It's so bad.
Oh
It's
my
so bad. And Asian hate first and foremost.
Oh yeah, no.
Moving forward,
I don't know anything about Flash Gordon other than Queen did the soundtrack. That's all I know.
Flash.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's all I know.
I love how none of us can sing.
Yeah.
What I want.
I thought it was pretty good.
Let me pull up the villain from Flash Gordon.
Yeah, let me see that.
It's not great. So his name is Ming the Merciless.
Not that bad.
Oh man, that is what his name was. Oh, man.
He's a white man in yellow face.
Yep.
Holy shit!
Yup. It's bad, bro.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
Bad.
He also has big long opium nails. And it wasn't
as you do.
it was not subtle at any point in the process.
Red Scare. We're in the middle of the Red Scare.
Yeah, no,
Actually,
absolutely.
make the bad guy. Just
That's
like,
why you got your all-American hero. Who's your quarterback. You got your
the
quarterback.
hero we need to beat the Reds.
Only thing you could beat him is American football.
Oh my God! What the fuck happened?
It's
Yeah, and one of the last scenes is like they're having like sick nasty Star Wars battle on like the fucking spaceship, and they establish early on that one of the factions under Ming the Merciless' thumb are these Hawkmen.
Yeah.
Who are just like space Vikings with maces that shoot lasers.
their lore.
It's kinda cool.
The lore of
Pretty
their
sick nasty.
the lore of their species is they exist.
and they swindled the other good faction out of their gift to Ming the Merciless.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, they're scoundrels, but they have heart. They're actually not the bad guys because they end up getting recruited by Flash Gordon because he's an all-American football man, and of course he's going to make allies.
And they're impressed
Yes.
with his manliness.
So in the final fight against Ming the Merciless, who comes to save the day like Han Solo did? Dive, my Hawkmen! Dive!
And he opens the biggest, like, he could eat like a baseball, he could eat a watermelon like a hippo.
Yeah,
You know, they just mash him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
got
can do
asthma
that.
too,
He's got a
bro.
crazy
Nice.
mouth.
Which one? Who roasted the hell out of that guy? Was it Family Guy or?
Oh, I'm sure
American Dad?
Family Guy did.
About an American Dad, yeah.
Whichever one of the Seth MacFarlane shows like did that, and then like his mouth like opens like like
Gape.
2 feet open, like wide. It's pretty
He
good.
got some chomps, man. He got some chomps.
It's, what is this character's name?
Actually,
I don't.
Hawkman leader? I don't fucking know. I doubt it. He must have had a name, but like
His
it didn't
name-
matter.
It doesn't matter.
It
Yeah.
don't fucking
You
matter.
just know him as that guy that does that.
His
It's
name is
space
Prince Voltan.
Hell yeah. God, dude.
He's
what
got a big V on his head.
Dude, what a fucking trip of a show, man. All right, and we're going to end the episode there. Thank you for listening. Going to give a shout out to our sponsor, Dubby. They are a sugar-free energy drink based in California. They also don't use artificial colors, and they are committed to the fight against big energy. So that's always lovely.
Yeah.
And so if you use promo code Famfare, you can get 10% off your order. And I'd also like to give a shout out to our buddy, Merch Hunter Ricky. You should take a look at his YouTube channel. And he does mostly One Piece content and a lot of speculation. He actually has a series about devil fruits and interesting devil fruits that could exist. So go ahead and give him a check.
Go check out our friend Ricky. He's a good guy and he makes good videos about a good series.
Yes, sir, and have a good night.